Thank you for joining us for this Forex Preview video here at xn.com. I'm Christina Marujos, and joining me today is Senior Investment Analyst Rafi Boyadjian. We'll be looking at Canadian GDP figures out tomorrow. So economic figures essentially out of Canada have been positive despite a cooling off in the labor market. Now GDP figures are released tomorrow, and of course growth is expected to rebound in Q2. So what does that tell us about the Canadian economy right now?
Well, what it does tell us is that so far the Canadian economy has been immune from the impact of the trade war. We're expecting growth to have rebounded significantly in the second quarter from 0.4% in the first 3 months to 3% on an annualized basis in the second quarter. The big question now is whether or not this growth momentum will be sustainable or not.
How feasible is it for the Canadian economy to remain unaffected by the ongoing trade wars and, of course, the global slowdown?
So there are a lot of concerns that despite the current healthy state of the economy, that it's only a matter of time the trade war will start to affect Canada as well. And the reason for that is because the United States is Canada's biggest trading partner by far. So if we do see the US economy being pulled into a recession as the trade tensions worsen even further, then that would also drag Canada as well into a recession.
Now let's have a look at the Bank of Canada. It's holding its policy meeting on September 4th. Even though inflation is steady at 2%, wage growth is at a decade high, markets are expecting a rate cut by the end of the year. Do you think we'll get a hint of such a move at the next policy meeting of the Bank of Canada?
Well, so far there hasn't been much signals about a possible rate cut by the Bank of Canada, and in fact we've heard very little from policymakers in recent weeks, but they did give some clues at the last meeting. They did shift the focus away from data dependency to how the trade war develops. So that suggests that the bank is getting more and more worried about the worsening trade tensions and how that would affect the economy. So they suggest they might be willing to overlook positive data in anticipation of a slowdown in the future. So if we do see even more cautiousness at the next meeting, that suggests the bank would be willing to cut rates in the coming months.
And Rafi, before I let you go, how do you think tomorrow's GDP figures will affect the loonie?
Well, the loonie is struggling a bit at the moment against the US dollar, even though we haven't had a big dovish tilt by the Bank of Canada. But if you do get strong GDP numbers on Friday, that could provide the loonie some short-term support, at least against the US dollar.
Rafi, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching us at xn.com.